When you think of Arabia before Islam, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's probably just a vast, empty desert, right? Well, what if I told you that for millennia, that same land was actually a world of bustling cities, powerful empires, and global trade? That's what we're digging into today, using Robert Hoyland's fantastic book Arabia and the Arabs as our guide. So let's ask that question one more time. The common story is that this was a land just waiting for history to happen. But if you actually look at the archaeological record, the historical evidence, it tells a completely different story. It's not a blank page at all. And this is really Hoyland's main point. He argues that we've been looking at Arabia all wrong. He wants us to throw out that old idea of a desolate, isolated place. Instead, he reveals this vibrant, complex world that was, for thousands of years, a superhighway of civilizations connecting Africa, India, and the Mediterranean. To really get this history, we have to start with the land itself. And that idea that Arabia is just one big monolithic desert, well, let's just go ahead and shatter that myth right now. First off, let's just talk about the sheer scale of the place. The Arabian Peninsula is almost 1.5 million square miles. I mean, think about that for a second. That's bigger than India. It's bigger than Western Europe. A landmass that huge is never going to be just one thing. And it's not. Geographers break it down into 4 totally distinct regions. You've got the highlands running along the Red Sea. You've got the famous, vast interior deserts, sure. But then you have the southwest, think modern Yemen, which gets soaked by monsoon rains. And you've got the humid eastern coastlands along the Gulf. And these 2 pictures really say it all, don't they? On one side, you have the incredible, wind-carved desert of Hisma. And on the other, the green, terraced fields of the Duan Valley, fed by those monsoon rains. It's kind of hard to believe they're part of the same landmass. But this incredible diversity, it's the secret ingredient to understanding Arabia's rich and complicated history. Okay, so we've got this land of contrasts, right? Now let's see how that diverse landscape led to a history that's way older and way more sophisticated than you might think. We're going to rewind the clock way back to the Bronze Age, over on the eastern coast of Arabia. I want you to meet Dilmun. Based around modern-day Bahrain, Dilmun was basically the Amazon of its day. We're talking 4,500 years ago, this place became a massive trading hub. It was the critical link in the sea trade between Mesopotamia, that's modern Iraq, and the civilizations over in Iran and all the way to the Indus Valley. And this is what makes history so cool. This quote, it's from a tiny clay tablet found in Iraq. It's a complaint letter from a ticked-off customer named Nani to a copper merchant in Dilmun named Ian Nasser, nearly 4,000 years ago. It's the world's oldest customer complaint, and it just shows you this world of contracts and commerce that feels surprisingly familiar. Now, here's the crucial point. Dilmun wasn't some kind of fluke. Arabia's story is not about being isolated from the world. No, it's a story of constant back and forth, of being right in the middle of all the action with the great powers of the ancient world. And this timeline, man, it just shows you it was non-stop. For centuries, the great empires looked at Arabia and saw a prize, not a wasteland. You had the Assyrians and Babylonians wanting its wealth. Alexander the Great was literally planning to invade it. And later, the Parthians and Sasanians were fighting for control of its trade routes. Arabia was a major player in the great game of empires. All of this trade generated some pretty mind-blowing wealth. Take the city of Gurha in the northeast. It got so rich off the frankincense trade that according to the Greek historian Strabo, people there built their houses and city walls out of blocks of salt. Just try to picture that, a city built from the profits of perfume, literally shimmering in the desert sun. This coin is the perfect little artifact to sum up this whole crossroads culture. It was made by a local Arabian king, but look at it. The design is copying coins of Alexander the Great. That figure is a Greek-style god. But then the king's name is written in Aramaic, which was the common language of the Persian Empire. It's a melting pot you can hold in your hand. Okay, so we've got this diverse, ancient, globally connected land. But how do we get from all these different peoples, the people of Dilmun, Gurha, the South Arabians, to the people we now call the Arabs? Well, get this. The word Arab didn't originally mean everybody in the peninsula. The first time we see it, way back in the 9th century BC, it's used to describe a very specific group, the nomadic camel herders up in the Syrian desert. To the big settled empires, Arab just meant nomad. But over the next 1,000 years or so, something really profound happened, a process that Hoyland calls Arabization. The language, the culture, and the identity of those northern nomads started to spread. For instance, the ancient languages that were once spoken all over the south, they slowly faded away, replaced by Arabic. It was this slow, complex fusion that eventually created a shared Arab identity across the whole peninsula. So let's just pull all this together. Before Islam, Arabia was a land of incredible diversity. It was home to ancient civilizations going back to the Bronze Age. It was a vital crossroads for global empires. The one thing it absolutely was not was a historical empty space. And that leaves us with the big question, right? How did this patchwork of different kingdoms, cultures, and languages become the unified Arabia that would, very soon after, change the entire course of world history? The answer to that, well, that is the story of Arabization.